I'm going to try to hit lights, camera, action at 7 going forward. That it might not be too pretty, but I don't care. I really don't care. All right. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today. My name is Brandon Fogal. This is Evolution. We're going to be talking about Doge. We're going to be talking about Social Security, the most fun things in the world. It actually does matter a lot to a lot of people, Social Security, and I totally agree. But, and also, what about some time travel? Are you ready for some time travel on a Friday? Are you ready? Because I wanted to bring this up. Do you feel like you were meant for another time in history, another time period? Do you ever feel out of place? Like, why was I born in this specific time in history? I don't feel it. And sometimes I get that way and I'm like, lately I've been like, I wish I was born when there was no internet, when I wasn't even aware of all this kind of stuff, because I'm addicted to it. I'm utterly addicted to the internet. I'm utterly addicted to electronics and technology. And I'm like, I wish I was born before I knew all of this stuff existed, because a lot of things, it just feels weird to me. I don't know if you ever feel like that. Probably not like that. Maybe that seems kind of an odd thing, and I can totally agree if you're feeling like that's weird, man. That's weird. Why would you even think that? But you personally, do you ever feel like you were meant for a different time? Like, do you ever feel like you wish you could go back in time when you were cowboys and Indians and all that kind of stuff? You know, Indians, we've got to be careful about that. Don't want to say anything politically incorrect. All right, but before we dive into the whole time travel and finding a different time period in history that you think that you should have been born in, let's actually switch gears. Let's talk about Doge and what Elon has uncovered. It is wild, absolutely wild what they are finding daily. I put a link in the description of the video I'm going to show, as well as the YouTube channel, Fox News, shout out Fox News. And I put a link in the description to Doge.gov. It's pretty easy to find, Doge.gov, Doge.gov. It's a government website. I put that in the description. You can go to it directly. You don't even have to type it in. You just click the link. But daily, they are putting out there things that the government waste, fraud, and abuse that is being uncovered. And right now, it's not real time. They said in about a couple weeks, it will be instantly real time what is happening. And I wanted to start off, before we jump into the Social Security, I wanted to talk about they found mines, caves underneath the earth, how the government was running things. They are not on the 21st century electronic digital age that everyone else is a part of. They are still doing filing cabinets, paper copies, and that's why everything is bureaucracy, red tape galore, and it takes a year for somebody to do something as simple as retire, as well as everything else. So Elon and his team, and he's assembled a team of CEOs, like the top guys, the guys that know how to run things, know how things efficiently get done. He is rolling. He's got the best guys in the house that are doing this. And so yesterday there was a sit down with Brett Baer and Fox News, Elon and his guys, the guys that are running Doge, what they're uncovering. And it's just crazy. You can see the whole video in my link, but we're going to take a short look at when they spoke about Social Security, and 40% waste has been uncovered daily by the 40% fraudsters calling in and trying to get Social Security, which is actually stealing money from the people that legitimately deserve it. So he's saying he's going to find more Social Security money, benefits, all that kind of that jazz for everyone that legitimately deserves it. But we're going to take a look at a quick clip of Elon speaking about this.
Yes, and they steal people's Social Security is what happens. Is they call in, they say they claim to be a retiree, then they convince the Social Security person on the phone to change where the money's flowing. It actually goes to some fraudster. This is happening all day, every day, and then somebody doesn't receive their Social Security. It's because of all the fraud loopholes in the Social Security system.
How do you reassure people that what you all are doing is not going to affect their benefits?
No, in fact, what we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of Doge, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of Doge, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money.
All right.
I want to emphasize that point and let the record show that I said this, and it will be proven out to be true.
All right, there it is. And he is on the record, putting yourself on the record. Because, I mean, the eye in the sky don't lie. I don't know if you're a football fanatic. You understand that terminology, that the eye in the sky, film. You got to sit down and you got to study film. When something's recorded, you know, like a lot of the stupid things that I probably said that have been recorded, it's going to go back in my face if I look like a fool years from now. And we can't discount that. It's possible. It's possible. But Elon has put himself on the record that months down the road, can we look back and say, Elon, you were just blowing smoke, or you really are finding all this waste, fraud, and abuse, and it's going to bring more money to Social Security because you're eliminating all these fraudsters and this 40%, just crazy numbers. They say they stumble upon $1 billion waste like every moment. It's easy just to stumble in and just see $1 billion being wasted here, there, and all this, and they're just cutting it. You can see in real time in a couple weeks, but you can see what they've uncovered so far right now at that link, doge.gov. I'm going to switch it to that just so you can see that as well. See it on the screen. Find button. Okay. This is the actual website itself, doge.gov. It looks like Twitter. It kind of looks like Twitter, to be honest, but it's efficient. And just hearing these guys talk, these CEOs, they're saying the government doesn't need to be working like they're in the Stone Age, but they can be working efficiently like an Apple store. Like, we can be open and honest that Apple is the best device out there. I would say, I argue, it's just simple, easy, it's just like, just slide it over here, slide it over there. You can move and navigate everywhere quickly. It's simple, easy to use. And they're saying that we can get our government running this way, that everything goes a lot smoother, a lot just wasted time, all that kind of junk jazz, a lot of things getting cleaned up, and it's really cool. So you can see this daily, what they're finding, what they're uncovering, what they're wasting, and just, it's transparency. We don't need these bureaucrats, these bureaucrats and politicians just doing things that are in the dark, doing things that benefit their bank accounts, doing these things that are underneath the covers and all this jazz and junk. But we can see them doing things that are out in the open. What is happening? And this is what this government, the new administration, is implementing. It's just pretty cool stuff. I'm really pumped up about it. But there it is. I hadn't went to this website till this morning. Elon said it's out there, easy to remember, doge.gov, and you can check it out. It's going to be real time in a couple weeks, as I've said. So they are finding 40% just waste, just fraudsters calling in and trying to just steamroll and get money from themselves, and just, is it fraud? Is it just waste? Is it just ineptitude? Whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. We can understand that. Let's get on board and agree that let's try to make it as efficient as possible. Let's try to eliminate the waste, because then our government can run smoother and better, and we don't need to just waste time, energy, and money on things that are going to people that are scamming the system. We don't need things that are just going, let's just clean house. And that's what the Doge team is doing. All right, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit back to time travel. We're time traveling, everyone. Here we go. All right, time travel. Let's begin here. So I'm just thinking, for you, where would you want to go in history? And if you could go to a certain century in history, I guess we really started counting the years since Christ. Time began, and time, the pinnacle in history with Jesus, 2,000 years ago. That's the calendar. That's the calendar, ladies and gentlemen, that we all have. So would you want to go? So let's just start there. Let's start there. BC, would you want to go BC, before Christ? Would you want to go after Christ? Would you want to, because I immediately jumped to, I want to go where there's no internet. I want to go where there's, I would feel like I'm not instantly bombarded with notification and instant access to anything, to me and then me to everyone else. I want to wait a week till I hear the news cycle. So I'm thinking, for me, if I had to think about this, and I want you to think about it as well, where would you want to go? Would you want to go to maybe 1,000 BC, 2,000 BC, The first century, it's looking pretty good at that time. I immediately think I would like to go the 19th century. The 19th century. That's where I immediately go with, like we're getting a little industrial. The American situation has been put in place. Maybe avoid the Civil War. I don't really want to be there, but I mean, that's what happens. You got to do what you got to do. So, I mean, I might go back maybe a little bit further, maybe around 1820, 1830, around that time period. Just everything cool down. I can just relax, be on my farm, raise some cattle, raise some kids, and just have a life that is peaceful and tranquil. Oh, I mean, all right, let me jump back a little bit. I might want to go back, and I want you to think about this. Where would you want to go in history? Say you could pick one, maybe give your top 5, maybe your top 3, and then settle on that one, because I want us to really think about this, because we never really think, why was I born now? Why am I here now? And just, I think we don't reflect as much. A lot of times we don't sit back and think, all this stuff we are just thrown into in this crazy world. We don't have time to reflect. We're just humdum rigmarole going through each day, and we don't take a second moment just to think about, why am I here? Why was I born at this time? We didn't decide when we were going to come into this world, but is there any opportunity for time travel? Because that's always interesting to me, because we always talk about that. In the future, will there be some time travel happening? I don't know what you all think. What you think about that? Do you think that there will be some time travel? Because I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it. But I need to get into a scientific mind, and maybe this team right here, this team of Elon gurus, they are able to maybe put something together that gets some type of time machine that we can figure this out. But I immediately go to I always get it confused. The 19th century means 1800s. Because it seems always backwards to me. I always thought the 20th century would seem like the 2000s, but it means the 1900s. It's always kind of weird, I know that sounds stupid to a lot of people. I don't know if you have ever felt that way about it. But in what time and period in history would you want to go? Would you want to go back to when Jesus was here? That first century, when the clock started. There were a lot of calendars. Throughout history, there's been a lot of calendars, but I think we've consolidated it, and we've understood that before Christ and AD, Anno Domini, that means like the year of the Lord. Jesus, that is when history started, and it makes sense. Now we're 2,000 years from that time period. How much longer are we going to go? So maybe I'm going to give off the top of my head. Like I said, I already would like to go to the 1800s, but I wouldn't hate going back to the first century, seeing how the first church and early Christians started, how that all came together, what is actually happening. But it's like, I want to be able to YouTube it. I want to be able to take some film and record, but it's a double-edged sword. I can't record it. If I'm back in that time period, I don't even know about all this technology. So I want to absorb. I think I want to get more in touch with Earth, more in touch with just reality, and not this figment of internet, just craziness that is out there. It's just so weird that life is like this, that we are sitting at a time in history where we can turn on and we can see what's happening in our friend's life across the world. Everything, it was not always like this, and I kind of wish that I was not here for this. All right, so now I hope you've had time to think about it. What time and period in history would you have liked to have been born? Would you have liked to experience? I would probably settle on the 1800s. It would be a little bit of time. It'd be time that we know that Jesus has come. I'd have a Bible. I'd still be able to have something like that. I'd be able to just sit on my farm, raise some chickens, and just, build a log cabin and just sit back, relax, just go out in the fields, walk around, and not have a phone. Not have a phone, and not even know about a phone, not even know about all this stuff. I wish I was removed. And I think some people like to do this. They like to get off the grid. People get off the grid sometimes to get away from all this craziness that we all experience. And we're just drenched in, and now it's just the way of life. It's just the way of life. So I would like to get back there, and I hope you've settled. Where would you like to land? Anytime in history, you have a time machine. The Doge team has created a time machine. What time in history are you going to? I'm going to the 1800s. That's where I land. 1800s, probably 1825 to be exact. 1825 to be exact. And I got a farm. I'm still exploring the United States. I'm traveling about. I'm going up the Missouri River. That would not have been. It would have been scary, but it would not it wouldn't be like it would be scary. And then someone took a video of me just freaking out, getting bit by a badger, and they posted it on the internet. And there's none of that. I might get bit by a badger, I might get eaten by a bear, but no one knows about it. No one knows about it. I'm just out in the West, exploring the West. Maybe I got my pistol. Maybe I'm, just expanding my territory, expanding my property. The pursuit of land. I'm pursuing land and trying to build up my acreage and all that, and just having fun with it, having a good time. That's where I'd land. All right. So I hope you have had time to think about that, where you would like to land. But I want to also talk about, and I hadn't pulled this up, but I'm gonna pull it up right now. I know the chapter, I know the verse. I'm gonna go to it, and we'll find out. We'll find out. Acts 17. This is Paul, the apostle. This is the first century. This is happening. We don't have footage. We don't have film roll of him standing in front of the Areopagus, in front of all these guys in togas. They're just guys in togas talking about philosophy, trying to find out the newest thing. And Paul, this weird guy, he's a weird guy. He just looks odd. We don't really trust him. We don't know anything about him, but he stands up in front of us and he starts telling us these things, and he starts preaching to us about this God. And he calls it the unknown God. He uses it as one of his, as something they can relate to, because they got a pantheon. They're worshiping everything. They're worshiping the ground, the sky, the sun. They got a God for everything. And Paul even sees when he's walking throughout their city or whatever, he sees this statue that says, "To the unknown God." We got to cover all our bases. These Greeks had to cover all their bases. They don't want to take a chance that they are not worshiping some deity that is out there. And he starts talking to them about this unknown God, but he infuses into it the God of Israel and Jesus. And he says, this God that you worship as unknown, I'm going to declare him to you. It's this God, Jesus, that came into this world and was raised from the dead. And when everybody hears about the resurrection, they start laughing. But I want to find the passage where it talks about, okay, this is Acts chapter 17, verses 24. And I want to specifically just touch on and end with, we're in 26 and 27. It says, this is Acts 17:24. The God who made the world and everything in it, being Lord of heaven and earth, does not live in temples made by man, nor is he served by human hands as though he needed anything, since he himself gives to all mankind life and breath and everything. And he made from one man every nation of mankind to live on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their dwelling place, that they should seek God and perhaps feel their way toward him and find him. Yet he is actually not far from each one of us. In him we live and move and have our being, as even some of your own poets have said, for we are indeed his offspring. So, it's not by accident that you were born in this period in time. This is not by accident that I was born in this period in time, when there is internet, where there is technology and all this stuff, electronics. It's great in a way, but when it fails, it doesn't. And sometimes it just makes me so just tethered to it, and I live and breathe it, but you were meant for this time period. You were meant to be born in this century, whatever, or last century, and now you're in this century, You were meant to be born here. And it was not by accident, but it was by purpose. God put you right here where you're at. Whatever ecosystem you find yourself in, whatever group entourage that you have around you, whatever influence you have, God has put you right where you are at for a purpose, a reason. It's not by accident. Don't let anyone out there lie to you, and don't believe the lies. but you have purpose, you have meaning while you're here. So just make the most of it. And it says we are put here so that we would reach out to him. Though God is not far from any one of us. Right now, you're listening to this, you're in a car, you're driving to work, you're at home making some pancakes. God is right there with you. Right there with you. And he's right there with all of us. So I'll leave it there. So keep evolving to the best version of you.